Oh, we started.
Welcome to Pop Culture Man Children, PCMC. I'm Mike Bongiorno. I'm your host, your ghost host. I'm here with, oh my god, it's the Gagliardis, Bill and Janine. Hello.
Spooky Halloween, Mike.
Hello.
That's the proper Halloween greeting.
Mine was a little creepy, but...
When Bill talks, give him the mic.
No, I don't want to.
Or at least aim it at his mouth.
It's not going to happen.
All right.
This is just a little bit closer from the couch because I felt like I got to come closer to this because of the topic that we're talking about.
Yeah.
So I just decided to come a little closer to the mic.
You're always a presence, though, on the show.
Yes, yeah.
Like a phantom.
If you will. This is...
haunting the program.
Well, everyone, this is Pop Culture Man Children. If you've never heard before... This is a podcast about fandom and media and pop culture and movies and TV shows and stuff like that. And this is Halloween special 1 of 4.
Yay!
I've got to slow down because we're going to run out of topics at some point. So this is The Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
And Treehouse of Horror.
Okay.
Janine.
Yeah.
How are you?
Good.
Bill, how are you?
I'm doing well.
We just heard Bill's creepy PCMC theme.
And it wasn't the original, which is also creepy. Yeah, just a little bit of a change to the original theme. And
I love the original theme. We all do. We all do.
Oh, thank you. You know what it is? It's like during this one, I just ate a lot of candy corn just to get some influence. So, I mean, the diabetes is going to come very quickly. But
Yeah.
That's a theme in this household.
Diabetes.
I too had some Wendy's today.
All right, I have a gift for you. I have a gift for your child, but it's really more for you two.
What?
It is drugs. Here you go.
Okay. Oh, it's in a
This
gift
is a
bag
gift.
and everything.
I know. The gift bag I did not pay for. The gift I did pay for.
What? Is this the book you read?
No.
Oh.
The book I read is a real grown-up book.
This smells like a lot of perfume.
That bag, I do not know what that bag's former life was.
It looks like a Valentine's Day bag.
Probably.
The Haunted Mansion. This is not for him. He's not allowed to touch this.
So that is the
me?
Haunted Mansion turned into a children's book.
This is so cool.
Comes with a CD.
How the hell am I going to play it?
That hell's... I know. Look, it's the wallpaper as the...
so cool. Oh my god, I love... What is this for?
Grim grinning ghosts come out to
this is a
socialize. Yeah.
Okay. This is amazing. I love it.
It beautifully takes the aesthetic of the ride and makes it into a children's book.
This is so cool. Someone's having a party outside for Halloween. This is so cool. It's so pretty.
It's the 50th anniversary of the original Haunted Mansion in Disneyland.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, this is a good year to do it
This
then.
is the 50th
This is why you couldn't have
anniversary.
saved it.
No.
Oh my gosh. This is awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I well, you're gonna make it creepy because that's what you do. But I actually collect children's books. See, she made a face.
From dead children?
Oh yeah. I kill them and take it, and I use it to lure in new children. It's cyclical.
I always feel so bad for this guy. He looks like the sweetest, oldest, most like
The guy in the graveyard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's that actor? The guy from Babe? Is it James Cromwell?
Yes.
Yeah, he looks like him.
He does actually.
His little like shaking dog. Oh my gosh. Love these guys.
The singing busts.
The busts, yeah. Oh, so good. I told you I was on the ride once when it got caught in the it like broke down in the cemetery.
Really?
Yep. And then it's like, I misremembered it actually because now I've like looked up what the message is because I was like, it's so cool. The voice comes on. It's like, ghosts are playing on the track. So really it's like, please stay in the cart. There is an issue on the track. Some ghosts, perhaps. And you're like,
it's not that bad.
It's not as fun.
The guy who does the narration, the ghost host, is Paul Frees. He also did Boris from Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Okay.
And it's still him. They've never replaced him.
Do you know if these three guys have names?
Do they really?
I don't know.
The Hitchhiking Ghosts.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. They became like the sort of
They're like the mascot
mascots.
of the Haunted Mansion.
That and the Hatbox Ghost, who only was there for the first year.
What's the Hatbox Ghost?
He's the ghost where he's got a hat box and he's got a head like a person does. His head disappears and then it reappears in his hat box.
Oh.
It only was... They never got it to work right, so it was in the original ride for the first year or two. And then...
Have you ever seen that? It's the Annie Leibovitz
Who's
Disney
playing them?
series. It's Jack Black,
Nice.
Will Ferrell, and Jason Segel.
That's beautiful. It's amazing. There's a movie with Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy that I saw in theaters.
How was it?
Lame. They
Guillermo
were
del
trying
Toro
to do
has
Pirates
talked
of the
about remaking
Caribbean.
it
Yeah.
and doing it like for real.
Yeah. They were in that mode of doing rides.
Yeah.
So they had just done Pirates of the Caribbean.
Which worked.
And then they did this, which didn't.
I think they're doing a Jungle Cruise movie.
They are with The Rock.
I was really, really excited for Hall of Presidents, but that got canceled. So
If Hillary had won, that movie would have happened.
if only.
Well, what is it? Tomorrowland?
Yeah.
I feel
Oh,
like
right. That's based on...
Yeah. I
kind
feel like
of.
that premise was really cool. And there's Brad Bird, so everybody got excited for that.
Yeah.
And then it was like...
Yeah, I didn't even see it.
Yeah, I saw it on a plane.
All right. So the book I read is The Unauthorized Story of Walt Disney's Haunted Mansion by Jeff Baum. And it was really good, and I learned a lot of interesting shit in it. First of all, they have a problem with people spreading human ashes in the ride.
People do it a lot, apparently. That is wild stuff.
Because people want that to be... Apparently in the Disney parks in general, that's a problem of people
Spreading ashes. I believe it.
But in the Haunted Mansion, it gums up the Omnimover, the Doom buggies, and then they have to stop the ride. Like when your ride stopped, it could have been
Probably
human
somebody
remains.
was like, Grandma, this is where you always wanted to be.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Now, okay, where do you want to start with? The history?
Let's start... Okay.
Or, I mean, what was your trajectory?
I was going to leave it up to you if you want to start with The Simpsons or start with Haunted Mansion. I mean, I gave you the book, but
I
I
feel like we're going into Haunted Mansion, so let's do it.
Okay, so...
Once the conveyor belt starts, so we can't get off the ride.
Yes. All right, well, let me tell you my personal history. When I was a little kid, I went to Disney World in Orlando, Florida, in like 93 or 92. And I wanted to go in the Haunted Mansion more than anything, and I didn't. Because the rest of my family went on to watch a parade, and I did not get to go on. This is a harrowing tale. Then...
You're teaching me parenting lessons.
I went back...
Never watch a parade.
I went back in like 96, and I did. And I went on it once. And that's it. I've only ever gone on it once.
Okay. What are your memories of it from that time?
I remember being the most magical thing that's ever happened.
Yeah. Were you scared at all?
No.
No. You were like,
I think it's the perfect, like I always say, like, one of the things I love about Halloween is like the kitschiness of it. And like I like scary movies, but I like the, you know, I've got, like I said in the last episode you were in, like I have in my house right now like a Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse dressed like werewolves. Like that's my aesthetic. Like the monsters, like shit that's like gothic but like lighthearted. And I feel like that is the ride pulls that off. Even though there's some shit in it that's scary.
The first time I went on it, I cried the whole time.
How old were you?
I was little. And I remember, it's like an early memory. I remember my mom holding me and like...
Is this Florida or the Disneyland?
This is Florida. I've only been to Disneyland once, and we went as adults. Right. Bill and I went.
The original ride was in Disneyland. And then there's one at Disney World, and they're basically the same on the inside, but their outsides are different.
So in Disneyland, they have New Orleans Square, which they don't have in Disney World. Right. And so the Haunted Mansion looks like a plantation house. Yeah. And then in Disney World, it's the Liberty Square. Yeah. So it is weird because all the buildings around there are like brick and they look colonial, but the Haunted Mansion doesn't really look colonial. It looks like more gothic, but it's made of that same brick. And then one of the cool things about the one in Disney World is that they used to keep up with the landscaping around the Haunted Mansion, but now they've allowed that part of the park to become overgrown on purpose to make it look more like lived in and haunted. And so you'll have this like beautiful landscaped little colonial houses, and then there's like this big scary haunted mansion.
I love it.
And it's bigger in Disney World, but I actually feel, and I think you and I talked about this, that the
California is longer.
It feels bigger. Like that one feels bigger. So they're making amazing.
You got to be
space.
fast with it. So when it's
I can't be fast with it. I can only be slow.
Like that.
Nope. Never gonna happen. You have to sit on my lap.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine.
All right. Well, right now you're speaking and he's not. So your hand's way in the wrong place.
It's gonna be in between. We're not cooperating.
We're giving
good
the experience of the ghost.
Nope.
It's gonna be like a haunted podcast.
This is mostly visual stuff, which is hilarious.
The puppet show is.
We're doing a lot of visual humor here.
Yeah. This whole segment really is all you because you've been to Disney how many times?
I went twice, but anyway.
I used to go twice a year for a number of years.
Must have been nice. Bill, how many times have you gone?
It was really nice.
Me, I've gone 40 times.
Really?
No.
Good for you.
Twice to Disney World and then the one time that we went to Disneyland.
Mm-hmm.
When did you guys go to Disneyland?
2017?
Yes.
No, not very long ago.
Not long ago.
So was that most recent or have you been to Disney World since then?
That was the most recent. The most recent trip to Disney was Disneyland.
So you've experienced both Haunted Mansions. Mm-hmm. First-hand experience, how... I mean, there are little differences, right? Like you said, Bill said that you think it's longer.
I think it's longer and truthfully better from how my memory serves me.
The outside is different.
Yeah, the outside is different. What's funny is I watched a video about the differences because I was like, what was actually different? And there's really not too much different. And anything that was additional is in the Florida one.
Right. They also changed them both a lot.
Yeah. But the LA one, or the Anaheim one, I should say, feels... like, I don't know. It just feels kind of like better, longer. I don't know.
It's the original.
It's the original. Yeah.
I think there's like a more open room, like where the track is a little bit different. The track trajectory is a little different in the Anaheim one. So there's a lot more open areas.
This is regardless of whether you're in Disney World or Disneyland, depending on the time of year it is, it's either 30 seconds faster or slower. It's very small what they do, but depending on if it's a slower season, it's a little bit longer. That might be...
I mean, actually, no. We were there Memorial Day weekend.
Memorial Day, specifically.
On actual Memorial Day.
Well, that's the day to remember the ghosts.
That's right.
Memorize.
Memorialize the ghosts.
And they both take a sip of their wine.
Yeah.
Let's remember the ghosts.
It's 1 o'clock. I heard that in an older episode.
Yes.
That's from 2 episodes ago.
So, all right. So here's some interesting tidbits I got from the book I read. Okay. Through the whole thing. Are you with me?
Nope. We're not speaking. Now I see you're tricking me.
What do you mean I'm tricking you?
No. Go on. Sorry.
Aim it at your face.
I'm aiming it at my face. I'm just looking at you.
All right. Through the whole history, there was a lot of different people who worked on it. And the central struggle was whether it should be scarier or funnier.
Okay.
And I think they never came to an answer on that.
Okay.
It's kind of both, but works. This probably the most macabre thing happens in the very beginning, which is the hanging person. Right off the bat, that's pretty dark, and most people don't realize that is the ghost host.
Oh, really?
Right, because the ghost host, this is in the stretching room. He says that you might notice there's no doors or windows, and there's only one way out, my way, and then total darkness, and you see a hanging figure, and that's supposed to be your narrator. But most people don't put together that's the narrator.
I never have.
And that's probably the darkest moment, and it's right in the beginning. A lot of people know that the trick of in Disneyland there are two basically exactly the same rides, and they're both underground. The actual Haunted Mansion is very little. There's like an office in there, and like there's nothing really in it. You go into the stretching room, and as it's stretching, you're really going down on a giant elevator. And when you get out, you go into one or two of the Haunted Mansion rides.
Well,
but
in
Florida,
Disneyland,
it's not like,
right? In Florida,
it's actually going up.
It goes up. Like the ceiling raises. You don't actually go down in an elevator.
Right. They just wanted to replicate that effect, but it doesn't. It's not needed.
Right. Well, since you're starting in the basement in Disneyland, and that was something you also pointed out, when you get in the carts, they tilt upwards and you go up in the Disneyland one.
Yes.
So it's cool how they make use of space. Disney, they're masters of like forcing perspective and doing things like that. And it's also one of those things where the Haunted Mansion kind of ruins you for every other haunted ride you'll ever go on at like a lesser theme park, I feel.
It's like the ultimate dark ride.
Yes, it is 100% the ultimate dark ride. They've mastered, it's like a master class in the dark ride.
Yeah.
It really is.
Originally, Disney wanted it to be walkthrough. Walt Disney worked on it for a long time. This is like one of the last things he really had his hand in. He wanted it to be, for a long time, he wanted it to be a walkthrough. And some of the other Imagineers were like, no, it should be a ride. And then they came up with the idea of the Omni Mover, which I think they originally used in Small World. It wasn't created for Haunted Mansion, but then they use it, and then when they realized like we can turn it to force you to look certain places, because they realized that it was going to be popular, and it was. The day it opened in Disneyland, it broke records, and there were 3 to 4 hour waits online to get in. When it premiered, it was in 1969, August 9th, 1969, and there's a hidden nightclub in Disneyland that's like invite only.
Is it like Club 33 or something?
Yeah, Club 33. So they invited the press, and the press went to Club 33, and they all got drunk. And then at midnight, like the lights dimmed, and the voice of the ghost was like, "You can now go into the Haunted Mansion."
Ooh.
And they walked into the Haunted Mansion. And they rode it for the first time.
Oh wow.
And then,
my mom got to do that with the Jaws ride in Universal.
Really?
Yeah, she was one of the first. She was part of the group because they did that for travel agents as well, and like travel agencies.
Yeah.
And their travel agents are all ghosts now, and they live in the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
But they got to go on it, and they were like testing the ride basically on them. And at one point in the Jaws ride, there was like a lot of flames.
Yeah.
And it was like
too much.
Way too much.
Yeah.
The people on the boat were like taking their rings off and stuff because it was like burning their hand. And that was like, they had a lot of notes after that first ride.
Oh my God.
But it's like such a cool experience.
I love the Jaws ride.
Me too.
I think it still exists in
like one of the other countries.
Yeah, like I think maybe a Japanese resort. It's very old school. There's nothing. It's completely mechanical.
Yeah.
And it's a boat ride.
Yeah. It was one of those things where like in the early years, the hosts were like really into it. Because you rely on the boat pilot a lot. And then at the end, it was like, oh no, there's a shark. And then like pretend to shoot the gun. It would go off like 3 seconds later.
What are other interesting things? Oh, one of the original ideas was it was supposed to be tied together with Pirates of the Caribbean.
Really?
Because it was going to be all pirate ghosts. And it was going to be like, they were going to be like sibling attractions. There's a lot of ideas. Disney's original idea was that it was a retirement home for ghosts, and then all the ghosts were from different places in the world.
That's cute.
Or they were displaced after World War II, and now they're and he would say that a lot in interviews and stuff. One of the weird things is they built a facade in Disneyland. When did they build a facade? In 1963. For 6 years, it was just there and no one could go in. And there was a sign outside that said, "Coming soon, the Haunted Mansion." And then it said, if you're a ghost, there's a vacancy. And for 6 years, people were like, what's in it? When are we going to get to go inside? Right. There was rumors that they had tried it and it was too scary and someone died and all sorts of crazy shit. And it was really just Walt Disney was beginning to work on it, and then he was asked to work on the New York World's Fair, and he went to do that, and it just lingered for a long time where multiple people worked on it. What other interesting ideas?
Now, is it true that there's a Walt Disney in it? Because I've never spotted it. I truly feel like it would be disrespectful to stick him in there.
I didn't read about a Walt Disney being in there.
I feel like that was always a rumor that I've heard, that there's like a Walt Disney bust or there's a Walt Disney ghost.
Interesting. Well, the bus that seemed to like look at you or follow you or
There's
inverted
one that looks kind of like him, but it's not. It's clearly not him.
Some of them are the exact same faces as the pirates from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. They do have a bit with a dog in the Pirates of the
Yes.
Caribbean as well.
Yes.
As the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah. I've
so
actually
feel for
never
that
been on
guy.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Really?
Yep. I don't know. I don't know why.
Oh, wow. We have to go on it now this time.
Let's see. Oh, so one of the early concepts was that it was a sea captain whose bride uncovered that he was a pirate, so he kills her.
Oh.
Then she haunts him, and then he hangs himself. This was the one that was tied into Pirates of the Caribbean.
Okay.
Then there was Bloodmere Manor, which was the Blood family all died in a house. And this was a meta concept because it would be, they would say that this was a real haunted house that Walt Disney moved into the land.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the house itself, the original house, is highly influenced by the house in Haunting Hill, the movie.
Okay. Is it like a plantation style house?
More like the inside, the long hallway and shit like that.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I guess the House on Haunted Hill houses, they all have that like big grand staircase.
Yeah.
That's in all the mansions.
The show is great.
Oh, yeah.
So one weird thing was in the 80s for a few years, they experimented with having live performers inside.
Really?
So they...
that would have freaked me out.
Right. That's why they stopped.
Like all of a sudden somebody's real.
Right. There's a famous... in the ride, there is a... like a knight's armor that shakes. Yeah. But for a while in the 80s, there was a guy dressed as a knight, and he'd lunge at you.
Oh, no.
And people were like complaining. People like, this is... Because if you hadn't gone to the ride, you're scared.
Yeah.
And if you knew the ride very well...
All of a sudden, some
and
dude
it jumps out at you,
now you're scared.
and they were told, don't jump at children or old people.
Right.
But like...
How well can you see in that mask?
Right. It didn't last very long.
Yeah.
But that was one of the weird ideas that they had for it.
Crazy. It's kind of awesome, but it's crazy.
Oh yeah. What else? Oh, so the Hatbox Ghosts. We've talked about it before. The Hatbox Ghost is... The reason he's famous is because when the ride first opened, there was an album that came out that was the soundtrack to it, and he's on the cover. And a lot of people are like, who is this weird ghost? Because he's not in the ride.
Okay.
But he was in the ride for the first year.
Just the first year?
Yeah, he's in the attic near the window.
Okay. Why did they get rid of him?
Because he never really worked. Like, the way the effect was meant to work was, you know, like I said, he has a head and his head disappears and it appears in the hat box. And it was supposed to be, there's a light on...
Oh, this guy.
Yeah. The way they originally did it was there was a light on his head and then that goes off and then you illuminate the head, but it never worked. Now they do it with digital. He's in it now.
Oh wow.
They finally like put him back in it, but he was like the weird mascot of it that like really wasn't in it.
Yeah. Oh, he's creepy.
Yeah, he's got a creepy face. I love the way the ghosts look in them.
They have a Funko Pop of him.
Oh, there's a whole new line of pops for the 50th anniversary.
Oh, they're like clear.
Yeah.
That's cool. I wonder if they glow in the dark. They probably do. It has that like yellow,
it looks
clear
like it glows
look
in the dark.
that it glows. Ooh, that looks like fun.
Is he in the book? It's gotta be.
Probably, right?
And their faces. This is also inspired by...
Oh yeah, it glows. Look at that. That's fun.
Oh no, I don't think he is in the children's book.
Oh no.
There's the bride.
I like the bride.
The bride was a concept they played with a lot. Sometimes she was a victim.
Oh, it's the guy.
Yeah, it's the guy who gets
Grave
scared.
digger.
I think they should put Eddie Murphy in the ride.
Why not?
I mean, if they're going to put Johnny Depp in Pirates of the Caribbean, I mean, why not?
He is in it, look.
Oh, and it's in the hat box. The effect worked. I love it.
So when I go in March, our plan is to go a lot. We're going.
Go on the Haunted Mansion a lot?
We're going. We have early magic hours.
Oh, yeah, because you're staying in the park.
Yeah, so we're going to go like 400 or 500 times.
Awesome. It is a fantastic place. So we timed all of our fast passes like perfectly when we went to Disneyland because like we were going without a child. So, you know, it's like you can really do that. And so you guys will be able to really do that.
You don't have a kid slowing you down.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the perfect place to like cool off in the afternoon if it's hot. I don't know what time of year you guys are going, but
March.
Oh, well.
The very end of February into March.
Okay. It probably won't get too hot, but we were there Memorial Day. It was like, we timed it perfectly. We were getting really hot.
Oh, yeah.
And like nice, cool, dark ride, chill out. You have to like time those dark rides well so you don't overheat during the day if you're doing like a hot weather Disney trip. It's a little park tip for you.
Well, I'm going with Jen Luttrell, my good friend, who you may have heard on the Harry Potter episode. And she has breathing issues. And she goes like 2 or 3 times a year.
Oh,
so she has figured out exactly how to do it without dying.
Okay.
So she's like a crazy pro, and I haven't gone. Like she has made the whole itinerary.
You gotta listen to it then. You gotta follow her.
She. I didn't know what any of these things. When I went in the '90s, they didn't do Fast Pass.
No,
I don't even know what the fuck that was.
It's called wait on a line.
You
forever.
wait on a line, you loser.
Yeah.
Now it's like it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. I can't wait.
It's gonna be fun.
So you cried the first time.
Yeah. I was really scared.
You were scared.
I was too little, I think. I think it might have been my first, like, haunted anything.
Oh,
so
really?
To me, it was very scary.
Bill, what was your first time?
My first time I was 17. I didn't want to be on it at first. I wanted to just go into Space Mountain and Splash Mountain.
Yeah.
I wasn't really into the Disney thing at the time.
Right, you were like I was like that.
Yeah,
right, like
17-year-old
that are fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't really like it the first time.
Okay.
Just because I was an angsty teenager. Second time around, when we went to Disney World together, Janine and I.
Yeah.
2012. I thought it was fantastic. But the last time I really did appreciate it was in Disneyland. And that's the one where I feel like it was more so my favorite ride.
Yeah.
Not my favorite ride in the park. Favorite ride in the park would probably be like Splash Mountain. But
Love Splash Mountain.
But there's a Halloween episode. So once we get into summer times, we'll start talking about that.
Yeah. Well, it's like
I'd love to do a theme park episode with Jen.
It's like when we were just talking on the last episode we did when we were talking about taking your son to the zoo and how when you're a little kid, I feel like I like the zoo more now because when you're a little kid, your world is wonderous. And as you age, you realize that you don't see fucking goats every day.
I don't know when to bring him Disney.
Make it so he remembers. You know what I mean? If you do it now, it's a goddamn waste.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree with you. I'm thinking 4 is the earliest I would do. But even then, I don't know if he'd remember it. But then I don't want to miss that window of wonder, right? Like where they still think things are
5
real.
is perfect. Because you know as you remember it, he's still wondrous. He's not going to be jaded at 5. He's not going to be like, oh, man, I'm 5.
I mean, who knows?
Oh, these kids these days.
You don't know.
Yeah. He'll be on opiates.
Probably.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to Disney so much more now as a 36-year-old man because when I went when I was, I don't know, 14 or whatever, I was like, I just want to go on fast rides. I want to go on Star Tours.
But
now it's like, I want to go on the People Mover. I want a Dole Whip.
I want all those things. Like my other friends though who have kids are just going for their kids. Like they don't give a shit at all.
I have friends with kids who have left their kids at home and
gone. I would do that.
We are strategically trying to plan the right time to do that.
We might go to Universal in like in a month without him.
Why
because
not?
Why bring him?
Right, exactly.
He's a waste of time. I can't bring him on a ride. He won't appreciate anything.
But we love him dearly.
I love you,
you'll bring him unless
he's a waste of time.
Unless you guys hit some real financial hard times around when he gets older, and then you'll feel guilty.
We spent all our money on trips when you were a baby.
Sorry,
you
missed out on the golden years.
And all our scratch offs.
But you'll bring him to all of that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus Universal. Is there shit for a kid to do at Universal?
Not really.
No.
It's not
you
really
want to go on the rock and roller coaster?
No.
Kid?
You want to see Simpsons and Harry Potter. I mean, at a certain age, it becomes more cool to you than Disney.
Yeah.
But then you go back to Disney.
Well, not to sound
It's the Disney that smokes.
It's the
Disney
cool
that
Disney.
vapes.
It's the Disney that hangs out beside the middle school.
Oh my gosh.
This is gonna make me sound old, but I'm glad I went to Universal back when there was the Back to the Future ride and Jaws and King Kong and E.T. E.T.'s never gonna go away though because
apparently not. Yeah.
Wonderful.
because he threatened them. He was
Like, does he have that kind of clout anymore, though?
Does a studio want to make sure that they never work with him ever again, though?
True. Why does he like that ride so much?
Because he's magical. You and me went on it like 9 times.
Yeah, because it was a nice place to cool off. It was misty.
For me, it was because it was magical.
And then you get to tell him a funny name. And he has to say your name is like butt.
No, I made it Mike because I want him to say goodbye, Mike.
Goodbye, Mike.
He
never said my name right, so I just started messing with him.
Janine.
It was like he would. There's like a rhythm to how he says it, so he'll go like up on one, like the first syllable and then down, because like I guess they must have had an algorithm for like how people's names are usually pronounced. So mine had like,
and your name's so odd.
It's not really, but it has so many vowels. I guess it's like a consonant vowel, and so he used to say Janine Edge. Like Janine,
weird.
Yeah, it was like a weird way he used to say it.
I wonder if there was a different way to spell it that he
Maybe that he would have said it correctly.
Yeah,
I feel like if I did like Janeen or something,
I think that ride needs a refurbish.
I completely agree.
It's like such old animatronics. Like it really looks like dummies. That are like, that was a visual joke for a podcast. Speaking of dark rides, have you been on Dante's Inferno in Coney Island?
No.
Luna Park? You never? It's a big monster on the outside.
I've never been to Coney Island.
Why?
I mean, I've been to the place. Like, I've never been inside the park.
It's good.
I've been to the Nathans.
Have you been to Dante's Inferno?
I've walked past Dante's Inferno.
Next summer, we're all going to Dante's Inferno.
But Nathan's is the best ride there.
Nathan's is a good ride.
Horrifying.
My favorite ride is Find a Needle on the Beach.
You're gonna find one.
You bet. Let's take a quick break, and we're gonna come back and talk about Treehouse of Horror. I don't want to speak to you if there aren't microphones around. Pick up your microphone.
I don't want anybody to hear this.
I'm not editing any of that out. The name of the episode is going to be Sweaty Shoes.
Sweaty Shoes.
Welcome back to the Pop Culture Man Children Halloween Special Part 1. I am your ghost host, Mike Vagiano. I'm here with Boo Gagliardi and ghoulish Janine Gagliardi.
I think my name's better.
Boo.
Yeah. I'm very excited right now. This I actually do know a little about. The Haunted Mansion, like I said, it was only there for like 3 times, but this, I am ready. I'm ready to go. Let's go.
The Treehouse of Horror, which for a lot of the early years was just called the Halloween special.
Yeah.
Because that's before the world was like super savvy and like knew the episode, like new names of episodes of TV shows. Now we all call it by what the crew always called it, which is Treehouse of Horror,
right?
Which is what they called the first one. So if you're not familiar with Treehouse of Horror, it is a tradition on The Simpsons. Every year they tell 3 stories.
Right.
The first one, the early ones, had wraparounds because they had more time, less advertisements. So the stories had a little more room to breathe, which we'll get into this more later. But I think that's the major change why I think a lot of the later ones for me don't work, because it ends up just being gag instead of a story.
Yes.
But now they don't have wraparounds. The original one, the first one, it was what? They're in a treehouse.
They're in the treehouse. They're in telling a story.
Was the second one the one at the Halloween party where Bart is dressed like Clockwork Orange?
It's early on.
That's the third one.
That's the third one?
Okay.
The second one is the paintings, I believe.
The gallery, right? They're in the gallery. Oh, no. Wait, doesn't she come out on stage?
Yes.
I think the first couple have Marge coming out giving a
like,
warning.
Please don't watch it. And,
I think that was like genuine. like obviously they make a bit out of it, but I think Fox probably was like, seriously do it.
And then a couple of seasons later, Homer came out, and then he was taunting them, saying like, "You're chicken if you don't do this," and then they turn off the TV.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and then that was the kind of thing that ended it because it was like now it's a joke on itself.
Yeah.
Plus, they stopped being scary after that.
Yeah.
Some of them are scary. Some of them are pretty creepy.
I think the very first story of the very first one, which they go into a haunted
haunted dream house,
and the walls are bleeding. I think that's genuinely creepy, and I think it actually
James Earl Jones is in it.
Yeah.
It's wild.
How does it end?
It didn't want to live.
It didn't want to live with them.
It didn't want to live with them. Right.
That was the thing. Like they gave it a Marge, of course, is the voice of reason, and is like, we all have to live together. We're not moving.
Yeah.
And then so you're gonna have to live with us. And he's like, can I think about it? The house.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
he makes himself like the house disappears into a portal.
Yeah.
And they're like, wow, he didn't want to live with us that badly.
And then what was the second story in the first episode?
I believe that was the Kang and Kodos. I don't really remember the title, but that was when they get abducted.
Yeah.
To serve man.
To serve man. Yeah.
That's a poignant one too, because they really just wanted to be good to the Simpsons. Like, unlike the Twilight Zone episode that it's sort of inspired by, they think that they are setting them up to be eaten, but they were just being suspicious. They were wrong.
Right.
And
the like reoccurring gag of to serve man, to serve 40 men.
Yeah,
or like
exactly.
How do you eat or feed?
Yeah.
And like they just keep on blowing on the book, and it just like reveals more and more to the point where it's like many people.
Early gags.
So good.
And that begins a tradition of the aliens. What are their names?
Kang and Kodos.
There is a third one that James Earl Jones plays in the first episode.
Oh, really?
But they don't give him a name. They say, if I'd say you my name, his head will explode.
And they appear in every other Halloween episode, right?
Yes.
If you could think of another way to share protein strains, I'd like to hear it.
Oh my
We will get
God.
into that episode.
That's the one, the Bill Clinton one, right?
Yes, that's the Bill Clinton and Al Gore one. What is it? Citizen Kang?
Citizen Kang.
Great title.
So, Bill, are you a Simpsons fan or are you a Treehouse Horror fan?
I'm a Simpsons fan.
Okay.
Treehouse of Horrors is something that I kind of looked past every time I bought the DVDs. I kind of skipped over them after a while, up until more recent years, where I really started getting appreciation for it because I started realizing that it was a lot of homage to Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
And just a lot of twist on different film parodies.
It's interesting. I guess this goes back to me being a creepy little kid or a spooky little kid. Like, I loved it. I couldn't wait. I remember the promos more than anything because they would always play a sort of faux version of Michael Jackson's Thriller. Do you remember the promos?
No.
I think I sent them to you this week on YouTube.
Wasn't that really just Fox's thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, for Halloween. Yeah. Right, because then it's a Halloween episode of Martin. All right, do you have a list?
I do have a list. Do you want to start chronologically or?
Well, let me say this. You guys have seen them all, right?
I've seen them all.
Yes.
I have seen a lot of them, but like a lot of people, the later seasons I'm real shaky on.
Yeah.
I stopped watching it, really all the time. I've watched a bunch on your recommendation. I watched Halloween of Horror, which I have a lot of thoughts on. We can talk about that when you guys are ready for that. So you guys are the experts here. Even though I don't have full knowledge of all of them, I still have the ones I'm most fond of.
Yeah.
The ones that I think are the worst, the smartest. Or I'll start with one. To me, the smartest, and I don't even remember the name of it, is the one where Marge is a witch.
Oh, I love that one.
I think it's really smart.
Yeah.
I think it really...
It's actually not on my list, but I know exactly the one you're talking about, and I love it.
It's a good turn. And it's a smart way to use Marge, because Marge is always so shit on in the narrative. And it's Salem Witch Times, and, it's based on... the Crucible, right? Or it's inspired by the Crucible. And it's this idea of like, okay, they're accusing these women and these women are innocent. So they throw Marge off a cliff because if she's a witch, she'll fly. And if she's not, she'll die with honor. And then she flies. and then she goes to her sisters, and we find out they're witches too, and then it becomes this weird like fable, like this is how trick-or-treating started.
Yes,
because they go around, and there's also an amazing joke in that where at one point they go to a house and the family's like, we don't want to give you our children to eat, but we've got these gingerbread children, and they're like, okay, we'll accept these. And then the sister goes, this is great, and then Marge goes, yeah, I wish we didn't fill up all those kids. Oh God, I think that's not my favorite, but I think that's the smartest one.
It's a really good one. I'm looking to see. I think that is actually from one of the later seasons.
Yeah. It's up there.
It seems like I can't find it.
Season 11.
I'm looking around there. Yeah.
Oh, it's called. No, it's from season 9. It's called Easy Bake Coven.
Okay. Yep.
I can't really think of the smartest, but I think this could segue into our list.
Yeah.
The most highbrow, of course, would probably be The Raven, because it's a
Yeah.
verbatim recital read by James Earl Jones
Right.
of Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven.
Right.
And
It really is just the Raven. It's the. Yeah.
Well, your brother has shown it in class
What
when
a
they're
s-
doing
what a
Edgar
cool
Allan
teacher,
Poe.
right?
I know, but
It is cool.
It's such a great voice performance from Dan Castellaneta.
Yeah.
because he's doing Homer, doing like
The protagonist.
an
Yeah.
accent of the time.
Yeah.
and reading lines of The Raven as Homer Simpson,
Yeah.
which is wild, and he gets like the cadence of the poem. It's an amazing performance.
Yeah, because, I mean, especially when you first read The Raven, when I think we studied it back when I was junior in high school,
Right.
You're just reading words on a paper, and you're not really getting that cadence. So to see this, I remember seeing this for the first time, I was 6 years old.
Yeah.
And no, I didn't get it then, but like when I revisited it around the same time that I was studying it in high school, I was
Yeah.
like, oh, this is how it's supposed to be read.
Right.
And I got that from The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Which was pretty incredible. And also,
It's a good adaptation.
and also, this is coming from the time of like Eat My Shorts and like
Right.
Butterfinger promos and stuff.
Right.
So for them to do something that highbrow, that early on, just they've done
That's
a
the
lot
third
of more.
story of the first one, isn't
Yes. So
it? That first one's super solid.
yeah, really, really good.
Yeah, you're right, because it gets. It's not just some of the problems I have with the later ones is it's just a gag, whereas like it's not just a pun, like it's actually doing it. It's creepy in the way that The Raven is actually creepy, in the way that it just keeps coming back, and it's
When The Raven
reminding
says, "Eat
him
my
of his.
shorts,"
Yeah.
instead of Nevermore, so they make it cute. But it's
Wait, that's not in the original.
oh no,
Poe?
it is.
Didn't he die
Maybe
of
he
syphilis?
was. I think he died in a gutter, but maybe of syphilis.
Well, I know Lenore was a syphilitic sex worker.
Clown Without Pity, season 4. Now this is the Telly Savalas episode of Twilight Zone with the dolly.
I don't remember this.
It's like one of the bigger, or I guess the more well-known episodes of Twilight Zone. The doll comes to life
Oh yeah,
and is like, "I hate you." It's like
Oh,
when
yeah,
they pull
yeah.
so it's a crusty doll,
yes.
and
This doll was set to evil.
yeah, that's your problem right there. They have like the guy come in. He's like the most blue collar worker
yeah,
ever
yeah.
to fix his doll. So good.
What season is that?
Season 4.
4.
Season 4. So it's pretty early on, and it's a great parody of an amazing Twilight Zone episode.
It's interesting if you track where they get inspiration from, because it's like if you look at season 1, it's like a haunted house story, perfect Americana, just simple. I think it has some shades of like Poltergeist or whatever, or the movie House, but it's basically its own thing. Then you've got the Kodos and Kang, which is also like a Twilight Zone, right? And then you've got Raven. So, a literary reference, a reference to a classic TV show, and basically just Americana Gothic.
Right.
But then like later on, there's like, it begins as a Twilight parody, but it's not really a Twilight parody. It quickly becomes something else. You know what I'm talking about? It's like
The one with the Daniel Radcliffe as Edward Cullen?
Yeah.
Yes, it's a Twilight parody. It starts like the movie Twilight starts.
Right. But
And
then
it's-
it gives up that premise pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Universal monsters, like
Yeah.
Right, because his dad is Dracula, but like old-timey movie Dracula.
Right.
And then they get together for dinner.
Yeah.
And then they're like going to turn Lisa, but then they decide to turn Homer. He turns into like the cutest fat little bat you've ever seen in your life. But Daniel Radcliffe is amazing in that voice performance, and it's kind of weird to see Harry Potter in the Twilight franchise, which is kind of odd. But I do get a couple of genuine laughs from that one, and it's like, "Come on, Lisa, let's go let's travel the way bats do by jumping." And he's like jumping from tree to tree because it's like, why did they do that in Twilight?
Yeah.
Why are they just jumping around and not flying?
But just to piggyback off of that, like the biggest problem right now with the Treehouse of Horrors is that they're trying to remain topical and hit their marks with these film parodies, but they're always 3 years too late. Like this year, they're doing Stranger Things, which is already in its third season. Like maybe last year would have been hitting it when the iron's hot, but now we're fully established in that, and everybody's kind of like fading off. I wouldn't say they're fading off of Stranger Things, but it would have been so much better 2 years ago or a year ago.
You're right, and I think sometimes they don't really go for the premise. Like The Shining, they go for that premise. Whereas sometimes it's like, we're going to call it Marger Things. And it's not really going to be Stranger
Right.
Things. It's just going to be...
It's like they got the title and that was it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that's the way I feel about the Twilight one. It's not really a parody of Twilight.
Right.
It's just, hey, you kids like Twilight? Like, here's an Edward Cullen reference.
You liked Twilight 5 years ago?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
we're going to do it now. I get the feeling that they have such a backlog of ideas that they're just using whatever. And because they've been around for so long, I guess they have all these ideas. I feel like they come up with these ideas and then it's not right for the season. So they're like, let's throw it in with the Treehouse stuff. Because that's the thing with Treehouse too, that we didn't talk about at the top, which is it's not canon, so they can kill off characters
It's
for
like
real.
it's like what ifs.
It's all what ifs, which is a fantastic opportunity for this series to do really interesting things with the characters. Like Ned Flanders, for instance, is evil or a killer in so many of them. He plays the devil, I think, twice.
That's a great one.
The first devil one that he did. So there's actually season 5, which I mean is a fantastic season all around. All 3 are fantastic.
What are they?
So the 3 in season 5 are The Devil and Homer Simpson, which is the Ned Flanders one. Terror at 5.5 feet.
Yes, another Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone.
I wonder if we went through and
so
counted
many.
how many Twilight Zones
There would be.
there are.
I think it's overwhelmingly Twilight Zone.
And there's a few. What's the other one? Not Twilight Zone.
That's not correct.
No, it was contemporary Twilight Zone.
X-Files.
Dark Side.
No.
Well, I'd say contemporary Twilight Zone is Black Mirror.
Have they done any Black Mirror parodies?
Not that I know of.
Might soon. I'm gonna predict this season they're gonna do something.
They won't do it this season. They'll do it in 4 years. Yeah.
Oh God.
Black Mirror's been around for a while, so
Yeah, but so was Coraline. Coraline was around for like 12 years, and they made not 12, but it was around for like 8 years, and they did it 2 years ago.
Outer Limits. There's a few Outer Limits ones.
But you know what? Now I'm thinking, Black Mirror probably took from their well. Like the house that Pierce Brosnan voiced, that's definitely a Black Mirror episode now, and that was 20 years ago.
It's not, but they should do it because I love Pierce Brosnan. The third one is Bart Simpson's Dracula, which I also love.
Why don't we remember that?
Bart Simpson's Dracula. It's essentially, I mean, it's just
the Francis Ford Coppola one. That was
Yeah.
one with
Mr. Burns' Dracula.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good one.
it's a good one.
I always think of the shadow gag, which is in the Francis Ford Coppola movie, but in the Simpsons one, like he has a yo-yo.
Yeah.
That is a great one.
That's another one where Marge is like the real deal. At the end, they kill Burns because they think he's the king vampire, and then they wake up. Like Bart or Lisa I think Lisa wakes up, and at the very end, like everybody in her family's a vampire, and she's like, "But we killed the head vampire," and Marge is like, "No, you didn't. I was the head vampire the entire time."
Yeah.
And there's this thing about the drawings of the family at the end as vampires that freaks me out so much. And it's just this little tiny detail. Their pupils are moved to the sides of their eyes. and it gives them this like really wild-eyed expression that is very creepy, and they're otherwise drawn like not differently, but that thing that with vampire fangs, I guess, but that one little detail of moving the pupil over is so brilliant, and it makes them so creepy looking.
Yeah. I always liked that they weren't afraid to actually be creepy or even like scary or disturbing. Like sometimes the last story of the 3 was like unpleasant.
Yeah.
And you'd just be like, okay, now I gotta watch Martin. What else do you have in your list?
Well, just to go into that, this is the last episode that I think that we're going to really analyze the seasons, because I feel like it hit its peak in season 6, with Treehouse of Horror 5, because that's when we had...
Oh, right. Sorry.
Yes.
All of them are one behind because they didn't have one for the first season. Yes. So Treehouse of Horror 1 is actually in season 2, and so on and so on.
Wait, say that again?
So the first...
the first season has none.
The first season has none. So Treehouse of Horror, the first, is in season 2. And so every Treehouse of Horror is a season behind the actual season.
I see.
Yeah.
So just to tag on to that and a little tidbit of information, this current Treehouse of Horror that's coming up, even though it's season 31, it's season 30, and it's episode number 666. So they did that on purpose. But to go into it, all right, so we just did season 5. Season 6 is probably the most solid 3-piece episode, and it does have a tag on each one of a repeating gag. You have the shinning in that episode.
Yes.
Which they do a ton of Kubrick. And every time they do a Kubrick parody, even in the later seasons, they do it phenomenally.
Yes.
The next episode, the next vignette was Time and Punishment. Homer's a time traveler.
Yes. I think that was an Outer Limits episode.
I believe so.
Yeah.
And we'll get into them in a second. And then the third one was a Soylent Green type of episode with the cafeteria.
Yes.
And Willie dies in every single vignette. And that's the ongoing gag. But
yeah, it ties it all together. And I think we talked about this off mic recently, but doesn't that episode have the first appearance of what are the characters?
Uter?
Yeah, Uter.
Uter's in an earlier episode.
No. I actually looked this up. I think he's right. It's in the cafeteria one. Yeah.
So he appears first in a
Treehouse,
treehouse, and then they're like, you know what? He's too good to not have him be canon.
He's kind of like the Harley Quinn of the Simpson series, where it first appeared in the animated series and then became part of the overall comics.
Or the Boba Fett.
Sure. Did he appear
He's
out?
the Boba Fett. That's not nice.
Don't fat shame Uter.
What's your favorite? Well, is the shinning not your favorite one overall?
No, it's not my favorite.
Okay.
Although I wonder
I think the
if
shinning.
it's the most quoted.
I think it's the most beloved of the tree houses.
Yeah.
I would
It's
say.
always voted number 1 on and like any list that you look
Yeah.
up. Shinning's always number 1.
I think for good reason. I think it's an excellent parody. I think it's when we watch The Shining now. When they do the all work and no play, we always go make Homer go crazy. Like that part, we'll always quote it. The best line maybe of any tree house is, "That's weird. The blood usually gets off at the other floor." And it just...
Or don't look at my mind at between 4 and 5. That's Willie's time.
Oh, and then when they show Willie in his apartment, because he's like the Scatman Crothers character, there's, in the Scatman Crothers apartment, there's like those wonderful like posters of like these beautiful black women. He has like a woman in a kilt with like a set of bagpipes over his bed.
Yeah, that's a weird part of The Shining. It's a little bit racist. Scatman Crothers has like this full like naked African American woman.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to disparage the woman in the photo.
No,
but it's they do take off on that as well, which is nice.
They use Willie to really good effect
in the treehouses. I agree. Yeah.
There's the one where he's Freddy Krueger, right?
Nightmare on Evergreen Terrace.
One of the best ones. Yeah. One of the most quotable ones.
Why so?
Oh my God. Yes. That's actually the following seasons, the next season of Treehouses.
One of my favorite quotes that I use constantly in unrelated conversations. He leaves a note to say, "Don't touch the furnace," but it says, "Don't touch," from Willie. And he reads it as, "Don't touch Willie. Good advice." And he goes and touches the furnace. Great quote.
So in that vignette, Willie catches on fire, I guess like Freddy Krueger does, and they're having this is an accident. But the reason he has revenge on the parents of Springfield is because he goes for help and they're having a PTA meeting, and Skinner's like, Willie, please don't interrupt, and he's like completely on fire trying to like get help.
Yeah.
And Millhouse's dad is like, I don't feel comfortable with Millhouse having spaghetti for lunch. Sometimes I'm cooking for spaghetti for dinner. I just don't feel like he should have 2 spaghetti meals. And like Willie is dying. He's burning alive in the background. It's an amazing gag. It's a good one.
I think about, God, this was like maybe 4 years ago. There's one with the black hole.
Yeah.
And
with the 3D? Like the
no,
computer
not that
rendering?
one.
Oh, okay.
It was, I think it's like there's a bag and the bag says like Higgs boson, and like it like
Oh, was it recent?
It was recent.
Oh.
And Millhouse's dad is being sucked into the black hole, and he's like, I was gonna take you out for ice cream. I had $5. Mm-hmm. You saw that I had the money though, right? Just the saddest character ever.
There's this amazing when they get divorced, right? Or is it another episode with Kirk where the statue, it's like the divorced dad statue, and it's like a guy with his pockets turned out, and underneath the statue it says, I just don't have it.
That's it. That's all we get.
Okay. Let's
go through your list.
Nightmare on Evergreen Terrace, season 8. Oh, season 8.
Just from like season 5 to season 8 would be the last one. Where
season 9 has those 2.
I mean, just like solid episodes of all 3 vignettes were fantastic over and over and over.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
They just hit it out
So
of the
you
park.
guys, you kind of, your list is more based on full episodes?
No.
Because I kind of think of them as stories.
So The Thing and I is from season 8, and that's the one with Hugo, with Bart's,
I don't know if I've seen that at all.
Bart's twin.
Oh, yes, I have.
And he stays up in the attic, and he's fed fish heads.
Yes.
And then at the end, it turns out that Bart was actually the evil twin.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, Bart, the joke is he's like, come on, you guys really thought I was the good one? I love that. We actually misquote it all the time.
Do you?
I do, because there's one point where Dr. Hibbert is involved because he was the attending doctor at the birth, and he tries to talk Hugo into releasing Bart because he's held him captive in the attic, and he's like, I bet you've never even seen your face. And he holds up this, what's supposed to be a mirror, but really it's just an empty picture frame, and Hibbert's face is there, and he just punches Hugo in the face.
But it just stays on his face for just a second too long, just to like really let it set in.
It's just a ridiculous.
It's just like a ridiculous amount of time on Hibbert's face, and I always misquote it as going like, Hugo, look at how beautiful you are. Like a big punch. And then season 8 is Citizen Kang, which is my favorite.
Right.
It's my favorite one.
And it's a step towards trying to be super topical, yet I think it works really well.
Yeah.
That's your favorite.
It's my favorite. It makes me laugh so hard.
Why is it your
Abortions
favorite?
for all.
What is...
Abortions for none. Abortions for some. Miniature American flags for some.
Well,
for others, that's it.
Explain what it is.
So, it's Bob Dole. Bob Dole and Bill Clinton are abducted by Kang and Kodos. It's an election year.
Yeah.
And Homer is also part of this abduction, I guess. I don't remember the details. Yeah. In any event, they're put in stasis tubes, and Kang and Kodos... Oh, that's it. Homer's abducted. They ask him to take them to their leader, but he's like, it's an election year, so it might change. So they're like, to cover our bets, we better go with both of them. So they abduct both of them. Then they take their place on Earth, and then they run for president, but they're aliens, so it's ridiculous.
Sir, people are concerned that you and your opponent seem to be walking around holding hands a lot.
Right. So now Bob Dole and Bill Clinton are just walking around town holding hands all the time, which is incredible. He's like, if you know a better way to exchange protein strands, I'd like to hear it.
I have a T-shirt that has their planet, Rigel
7?
Yeah, but it looks like tourist shirt, and it says like visit Rigel 7.
My God.
It's such a deep cut.
It's so good. But that's the kind of thing like a really intense Simpsons fan would be like, oh, yeah, that's a good one. There's the great Abortions for All, Abortions for None line. There's Kent Brockman is interviewing one of them, and he's like, none of this matters. Like, whoever you elect, you're going to be in the same spot that you were in. He's like, an unusually candid interview from...
Dream of a baseball line.
Oh, my God. When I was a boy, I, too, dreamed of being a baseball. So good.
And one thing, like, I remember watching this back in the 90s and being a kid and seeing how many failed elections Ross Perot has lost. And they hit it right on the head because somebody in the crowd, when they find out that it's Kang and Kodo, say, well, I want to vote for a third party. And they say, go ahead, throw away your vote. And then you just see, like, Ross Perot just punch out his straw hat, like, just out of frustration.
Oh, my gosh.
Throw away your vote. Wow.
May he rest in peace.
May he rest. That's right.
I wonder how much someone's got to have written this as a thesis, but like how much The Simpsons has affected like people our age, because it's like we were kids. I think what season are we on?
31. It's gonna start.
So it was like 5 when it started, and it's like it's like always. It's like SNL. It's like it's always been there. And so many of these quotes we know. I mean, it's so quotable. You don't even think about it.
Yeah. Omega Man, season 9. It's the Omega Man. It's I Am Legend. It's
I don't know if this one I might not have seen.
It's basically just a takeoff of the Omega Man.
Okay.
But it's like I like. There's always a joke in each of these episodes that just tickles me so much. So in it, the world ends and Homer is like the last man living, and he is lamenting the loss of his family, and he's like, little Bart, and he just like envisions Bart hitting a baseball with a bat, and then he's like, little Lisa, and the same thing, she's hitting a baseball with a bat, and he's like, Marge, she's also hitting a baseball with a bat, and he goes, and the rest, and it's his daughter Maggie, the cat, and the television set, all in a group. And it's such a good gag. It's so good.
That's fantastic.
Oh, there's House of Wax, WHACKS, and that's like a smart house one with Pierce Brosnan.
Oh, I've not seen that at all.
That's a good one. Basically, the house falls in love with Marge and decides it's going to kill Homer.
Do all the later ones have cameos in them?
No.
Okay.
But a good thing about that, just going back to Kubrick, because the central hub for Pierce Brosnan's voice is like Hal from 2001: Space Odyssey. And when they're deprogramming him, it's kind of like the O'Daisy scene at the very end. But he starts like talking like a slack John Yokel, or like he starts like changing his accent to just be like more and more belligerent, which is really funny. But they go through Kubrick a lot.
Yeah. You could see the Simpsons, like the famous thing they always talk about is like they're just Harvard guys. Like you could see like a lot of the you could see their influences.
There's also Whiz Kids. It's like it's season 13. Actually season 13 has Whiz Kids and House of Wax. So that was a good one. That's a more of a, I guess, like a Harry Potter thing, but it's not a direct one. It's like they go to a wizarding school.
I really hate when they're just a parody and it's not gothic at all.
It's not scary.
And it's like this feels like another team.
Lot. They did Avatar.
It's like, why we do? You're right. They
do action movies. They did Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Yeah, that bugs me so much.
They just
Halloween episode.
They don't do.
It's not like there aren't other. There's plenty of horror to parody. It's you just are chasing after some reference, something new. And it's lame.
They do a lot of action movies in the later series. Like, it's not Halloween-ish at all. But Whiz Kids, I like because of, it's like another quotable line. They're supposed to make a prince, like a Prince Charming in the class. And Lisa, of course, does it perfectly. And then Bart makes like a frog man that's vomiting like over and over again. And he's like, please kill me. My life is agony. It just keeps vomiting over and over again.
Bible says like you committed crimes against nature.
My favorite might be the very first story.
Okay.
The Haunted House one.
Yeah.
And
I think it's called Haunted Dream House.
And I think the smartest is Easy Bake Coven. And I don't know if I have one I dislike the most. I'd say of the last 10 seasons or so, the one that's my most favorite of the recents is the Freaks parody with Mo.
Oh, yeah.
Because I like that they decided to make Mo the protagonist. I like that it's a good parody. It's a solid parody. It looks like Freaks. You know, I get upset when it bails on its premise. When it's like it doesn't commit, like it committed to its premise. And that's just, I think, an overall good episode. Isn't that the one that has the beginning that was designed by Guillermo del Toro?
That's a gorgeous
with
beginning.
all the different
They've
shit in
used
it.
it since.
Oh, yeah?
They've used it again in some of the other tree houses. I think maybe one other, because it's just so beautiful.
And it's such like, just if you slow it down and just all the Easter eggs in there are crazy.
So many things from his movies. It's really, really cool. Some of the later season ones, season 17, I mean later seasons, it's already in 31, so this is like mid-season at that point. I've Grown a Costume on Your Face. Springfield has a costume contest, and this woman dressed as a witch, or think is dressed as a witch.
I watched this because you told me to watch it.
I think it's so charming. I really like it.
Yeah.
She wins, and they give her a prize. And they're like, "Oh, show us who you are." And she's like, "Well, that's awkward because I'm actually a witch." And I think it's Lenny or Carl in the audience goes, "Take away her gift certificate." And for saying that, she curses the entire town.
Right.
And they all become their costume.
A great Buffy episode, too.
It is also a great Buffy episode. That's right. I think that's probably why I
Mo
like
Man
it.
becomes an actual Mo, and he's like, I wasn't wearing a costume.
I know. And then the town is split because half of them really like what they've become.
Yes.
And the other
Bart
half
likes being a werewolf.
Right. Grandpa loves being a gorilla because he's so like spry and active. And then the rest of them are like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
Now Lisa dressed as Albert Einstein, so she's trying to solve the problem and realizes that Maggie is dressed as a witch.
Yeah.
So she's a real witch now. She can undo the spell. But of course, Maggie turns everybody into a pacifier instead.
So
and that's
smart.
how it ends.
That is a really good one.
It's a really cute one. But the button on the end of that episode is hysterically funny, I think. Mo is like, this is a fun episode, but we have to remember that every day is Halloween for some of us. And I mean adult illiterates who have to pretend they know how to read every day. And then Dennis Rodman shows up and he's like, reading is a slam dunk. And they're like, Dennis Rodman, what are you doing here? And he's like, working off a speeding ticket.
I love, like, at one point when they were like, Mo's just the biggest scumbag in the world. Like, this is not a Halloween quote, but I love the one where it's like him against Lisa, and he's like, listen, I don't like you, you don't like me. And she's like, I like you.
He's like, you do? I love that.
It's just the idea of an adult having a grudge against a child.
I know. I love that he always calls
Garage.
Marge Midge.
Yeah.
Oh, car hole. That's what he calls it instead. Hey, Midge.
Yeah.
Love it. It's the Great Pumpkin Millhouse.
That one is beautiful looking.
The Grand Pumpkin, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
It's beautiful looking. It's one of those ones where I feel like it's not a full story. It's kind of like it's like a beat and then another beat.
Well, I love it for the joke at the end where he's like, that's a white pumpkin. Nobody cares about those. He's like, you're a racist.
Yeah,
he's like, every pumpkin's a racist. I just admit it. And then he kills Nelson. He's like, I'd rather die than hate.
That's great.
It does look great, though.
It totally looks like Charlie Brown. Which, by the way, I watched that special last year, and it's aesthetically beautiful, but it is so boring. Honestly, I can't get behind Charlie Brown. No. I find it all so insufferably boring. And I feel like it wants to be boring. Like it indulges in like, look, we're boring. Yeah.
We had a Charlie Brown wedding cake topper, which suggested we were into it way more than we were.
People are like, wow, they're really into the
love
Peanuts.
Charlie Brown. I like it, but I don't love it.
I think all it was that I played piano and you have brown hair. So
that was it. That was the joke. It was Lucy and Schroeder.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you regret that at all?
I deeply regret it.
Because people will not stop sending us
They
Charlie
just
Brown
keep
presents.
giving us peanut stuff.
Just peanuts.
Just all the
You know
peanuts.
peanuts is racist? It's one of those things where it's like you find out that it's an old phrase that's racist.
No.
The peanuts section would be the section in the back of a theater.
Okay.
So when you'd say like we've heard enough from the peanut section, it meant like the black people in the back are being rowdy.
The peanut gallery?
Yeah, exactly.
Does it have anything to do with George Washington Carver? He discovered the power of the peanut.
Do you know that step on a crack, break your mother's back was originally step on your crack, your mother will be black?
What?
Yeah.
Step on your crack or step on a crack?
Yeah, like on the street.
I'm sorry. I think the phrase
It's
was
so
like...
many things are racist. That's
Step
like
on a crack, your mother will relax.
right.
No, I heard the song Cotton Eye Joe
Yeah.
is racist.
The song that plays on every ice cream truck is racist. If you know if you look at the
Oh,
lyrics
the
for
one
it,
that's like do 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 do. That one.
yeah, I don't remember.
You know, I know this. I can hear it in my head. I don't care about the rest of you.
The lyrics are like watermelon, watermelon, watermelon. It's crazy.
My grandmother used to say really perverted things about that song, about somebody's penis being out of their pants. I'm not going to sing it, but
Please don't.
But my grandmother was a filthy woman. So.
Now we move
God
on
rest.
to the horrors of
God
our
rest.
childhood and the horrors of American racism.
School is Hell, season 26. Did you happen to watch that one?
No, what was that?
Okay, so they find a portal to hell, but it's a school. And Bart does very, very well there. So he asks his parents if he can transfer, and they like go in and they have a meeting. And it's like Skinner and Chalmers, but they're attached. And they have like big devil wings. And he's doing really, really well because it's like all these like creative ways to torture. And he's like extremely creative, and he comes up with all these different torture methods, and he's getting all these good grades, and he's like, I can't believe it, I have a crush on my teacher. And she's like, down here we can make that happen. And it's like, oh. But it's a good one. It's a really good one. And that's another one. It wasn't really taken from anything. That was an original idea.
Yeah.
And that was a later season.
I don't mind that if it
I like
stays
those a lot.
scary or spooky.
Yeah.
Like-
yeah.
I get mad when it's like Mr. and Mrs. Smith. It's
Yeah.
like, what the fuck are you doing?
And then season 29, I think
Solid
a
episode.
solid 3 vignettes.
What are they?
They are The Exorcist, Coralisa, and Homer.
I watched Homer when I'd never seen it before, and I was really struck by how depraved it is.
It makes my skin crawl.
It's
is
truly
so
depraved.
gross. Yeah.
And their therapist is voiced by William Friedkin, the
Right.
director of The Exorcist,
So
which I didn't get until you said there's an Exorcist parody in the episode.
The Exorcist begins with like Homer orders a Pazuzu off of Amazon, and Marge is like, why did you order this? And he's like, I thought it was a pizza. And so they put it in Maggie's room, and Maggie becomes possessed. And it's like a creepy one. The way they they directed it, and they move cameras now in animation, which is wild.
Yeah.
The way they do it, it becomes a very, very creepy episode. And I'm like, wow, they kind of went back to their scary roots with this one. So it's a good Exorcist parody.
Yeah.
They don't, like you said, they don't drop the premise midway. They keep it. It's an Exorcist parody. And then Coralisa is a Coraline
Yeah.
one, which is cool because when she goes through the portal, first of all, Neil Gaiman's in it. He's the cat. This is the second episode he's been on. He's been on The Simpsons a couple times, much to my delight.
Well, it isn't.
The book
He
job.
can't read.
Yeah, he's like, the joke's on all of you because I can't read, which is amazing. And every time she goes through the portal, it's like, it looks like clay, but it's not. It's like the CGI animation style that they do.
Oh, wait. That reminds me of an early gimmicky one, which was the 3D one. Homer goes into the world.
Yeah.
I remember when that was getting premiered.
It was a big deal.
Yeah, exactly.
It was like, oh my God.
Homer in real life, or like 3D
right.
Homer.
Right, because there's a shot at the end where he goes into like the erotic cake store.
That shot at the end is amazing. I've watched it so many times, and the people on the street
Are very 90s.
Oh, yes, they are. But they're I feel like they're reacting to like what a real person would do if they saw this. It's not like an over the top reaction. It's like take a step back, and then everyone on the block, like if you look from one end to the other, is kind of slowly drifting towards the erotic cake shop and like doing double takes, but not overly dramatic double takes. I'm always like shocked at, because these are all just like extras, right? I imagine.
Yeah.
Everybody on that street is doing an amazing job acting. Like they've never seen this before, and it's.
I remember that
think
shot
really good
well,
job.
but I have to go revisit it.
So season 29 is, I think it's a fantastic episode all around. And then some of the others, like from earlier seasons or later seasons, I'm not sure, is like the others where they're like haunted by the old Simpsons family. Do you remember that?
That's an interesting idea, but I don't think they do a lot with it.
No, they don't.
And it seems there was another episode where you go through where they do a pan, or a sort of, they kind of pan through their house and you see it's just like sight
like
gag.
The bones of
you
their
see the
family.
bones of the old ones. And I guess
yeah.
that was what inspired them to do it.
Yeah.
But they don't do much with that.
No.
I feel like. Do you have least favorites? Can you tell me what you think is the worst one? Worst story?
The worst story.
I would say the Avatar, Mr. and Mrs. Smith type ones where they just do a movie and it doesn't. It's not Halloweenish at all. It's not scary.
Then I would have the one that we didn't talk about. Was The Life's a Glitch and Then You Die, which was an extremely, extremely topical thing for anybody who lived through it, which was the Y2K bug.
Oh, wow.
Because it was such a throwaway season, too. This was like around season 10, and I hated it growing up. This, I would have said, was the worst one, because this was right when I stopped watching it for a while. But now that I go back, I'm like, this is amazing. Mainly because, like, you got 2 rocket ships leaving the Earth because it's doomsday, and one has all the brilliant minds and that's going to Mars, and then one has Bart and Homer on it and they're going towards the sun. And who's on it? Like Tanya Harding, Rosie O'Donnell, and Tom Arnold. And Tom Arnold is just the most optimistic person. He's like, hey, the grub's good over here, and you know, my
is it
show
voiced by the real Tom Arnold?
It's voiced by the real Tom Arnold.
Of course it is.
He's like, I can't tie people down and have them watch my show, but I can because I'm a big guy and I'm good with tying knots. Like there was just like a bunch of like small little jokes in that. So that's why, like, even if it's a bad premise and it's a bad thing, like there's still like those little jokes, and this goes throughout the whole Simpsons.
Yeah.
Like even from seasons, let's say, people always say like 9 to now are bad, but even in the bad episodes there's always those like little bits of like you'll get tickled for like a beat.
I fell into a phase like 3 years ago where I was watching it pretty consistently, and I was like, these are not bad, like they were pretty good. Like I don't know what season this was, but like there was the episode where like hipsters came to Springfield and like Patton Oswalt was in it, and
Carrie Brownstein.
Yeah.
It seems to get better whenever Futurama is not on the air.
Interesting.
They
Now
have a
you've got
Futurama
Disenchanted.
episode. Yeah.
Do they?
They do. As one of the recent seasons. Bill actually put together, because we've been watching the later seasons a lot in recent years and trying to pinpoint what the good episodes are. And somebody asked on like the Simpsons Reddit, like, what are some of the late seasons good episodes? And Bill was like, it was funny you should ask. My wife and I have been making a list. So just like posted a whole list of like what we think are the best episodes of the later
I
seasons.
got yelled at for that list by many Redditors.
Really?
Why?
Are you telling me Reddit's a bad place?
I'm saying that there's a lot of mean people on it.
Oh, I don't like it.
And it hurt my feelings.
I don't like it.
Never look at the comments. That's what Rocket Ralph said.
Never look at the comments. Let's talk about
Halloween of Horror.
Halloween, which is a canon. It's a story.
That's right. It's their Halloween episode, which they've never done. They've had Halloween specials,
right?
But they've never had a Halloween in universe.
30 years, and yeah, because this was season 29.
Right.
So from why can't I think of the name of the show before this?
Tracy Ullman.
Yeah, Tracy Ullman show from that point. So it was like 31 years from the point of their genesis to now.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, let's actually do a Halloween episode.
I think it's fantastic. I love it.
Was there a Treehouse that year, though? Because they make,
in
the beginning...
Yes, they make a joke.
Yeah, Flanders... Was it Flanders?
Yeah, Flanders. He's like, you're going to get in the treehouse, tell some stories? And Homer's like, yeah. We're going to do Psycho with Skinner and his mom. We're going to do Muppets, Wizard of Oz. I'm going to be Fozzie.
See, that's a good...
I know.
Making fun of when they fuck
and then, something with furniture. They're going to take over the world. And it's just like, it's so...
I love it.
I'd love to see a Psycho with Skinner and his mom. I'd
That
love
would be
that
great.
one.
And in the end, you have Kang and Kodos, who are really
Lenny and Carl,
and they're like, "This is not your usual Halloween fare."
I love it.
It's a good episode. I really liked it because I like when the writers remember that the kids are kids. So because it was an episode where Lisa is scared and acts like a kid.
Yes, it's like
and
a
it's
Six
sweet.
Flags horror nights type place.
Yeah,
and she gets very, very scared. She's like all excited because Bart is like the big kid, and he's like, "Oh, it's gonna be fun, but you're probably gonna get scared." She's like, "No, I'm not. I'm really excited, actually." And then they get there, and she's like, "Oh, that wasn't so scary." And then she starts getting very scared.
Yeah,
and they have to pull her out.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Homer is like, "Don't worry, you stay with me." And then we cut to like 2 scenes later, and he's holding Hans Moleman's hand. And he's like, "Sir," and it's just, and Lisa's like all by herself holding a zombie's hand.
I think that the episodes with the most heart are the Lisa Homer episodes, and I think it has a lot of heart. You've got the pop-up people. These are pop-up people.
Yeah.
Which Homer, I guess. It's not clear. Is it the Quickie Mart or is it just Apu is working at a pop-up store?
Apu is running one of these pop-up stores.
And so there's pop-up people, as he calls them. And Homer ends up getting them fired. So they threaten him. So it becomes a little bit of a parody of The Strangers. But it also reminded me of the early episode where they have the babysitter.
Yes.
Who's like a killer or something.
Yeah. Because it gets really scary at some point.
Right. If there's stakes.
Yeah. There's high stakes and they are threatened.
And it's a really smart premise of she's scared, so he wants to keep her from freaking out, but they're being stalked by these people and he doesn't know what to do.
Right. So she doesn't go trick-or-treating because she's too afraid of like the Halloween decorations and other people's costumes. So Marge
Everscream
Terrors is all set up to be like a beautiful haunted house on their block, but he takes everything down and Bart's really upset. So Marge is like, "I'm going to take you to an amazing Halloween block, like on a cul-de-sac. Yeah. And you're going to get to go to this awesome Halloween party and your dad will stay home with Lisa." And they're having like a fun night in with like a puzzle, and then the pop-up people like terrorize their house. And Taily, you want to talk about Taily?
Well, no, I was going to segue into a personal thing between us. So one of the most chilling things in this episode actually happened to us, and you're going to tell the story. And this is for the...
Were you guys stalked by people?
No. And this is perfect for Halloween, too. The most chilling thing Homer says in that episode is they're both curled up in the attic hiding from the pop-up people. Yeah. And he says, "I'm scared, too." And for somebody...
this is real.
Oh, he's like, "Yeah, this is real.
Yeah.
I'm like, so to have like your shining light, to have your protector be terrified is the worst feeling to have. And it's like, okay, so one of us has to rein it in, which brings us to something like that happened to us.
Oh no. This is a truly scary story.
This is a scary story, and this is a Halloween episode, so I think this is the best
time to say it.
Tell the scary story.
Oh my God.
Tell the scary story.
Okay. This is a real thing that happened, and I don't believe in ghosts, just categorically across the board. I don't believe in ghosts. I'm just going to tell you that, okay? Right. So here's what happened. I was going through a period of time where, this is like 3-hour episode. I was going through a period of time where I was having what I believe are stress dreams, where every night I would wake up, every single night, and this was going on for like a good 3 weeks. Every single night I would wake up and I would see a shadow of a woman standing over the bed over me, and I would wake up screaming. Like I'd be like, "Ah!" every single night.
Sure.
So this got to the point where I was starting to get like, I'm afraid to go to sleep. Every night I would truly feel terror, like, oh my God, I have to go to sleep, because I knew this would happen. And the jolt that you feel, like the actual fear that you feel, even though I knew it was a dream, I'm like, this is a dream. I know it's a dream. No one's here.
Right.
But it's like night terrors. You're experiencing
sleep paralysis.
Yeah. Yes, I was experiencing sleep paralysis. So I believed it was like stress-induced sleep paralysis. And I'd been telling Bill.
Ghost.
Sure. So listen. So I'd been my rationalization is I had been telling Bill every single night, this thing is happening. I'm seeing this outline of a woman. And so one night it happened again, and I was like, okay. I used to wake him up. In the beginning, I'd be like, oh my God, Bill, this thing. And he'd be like, oh, I'm sorry, and go to sleep. And I'd be like terrified, and then I'd go back to sleep. So this had been happening for quite a few nights now, and I'd been telling him what was going on. And so this is the only way I rationalize it, because one night this happened again. I didn't even wake him up, because I was like, at this point, this is happening every night. I turn over to go back to sleep, and I just hear him say, I saw her too.
Did you?
I did.
Oh,
is that in this house that we're in right now?
This house that we are in right now. So
how long ago was this?
3 years? No. This was
4 to 5 years ago.
Have you seen her since?
No, I haven't.
Bill, have you seen her since?
no. I think I scared her.
So no, I still had it after this. So it's not like it ended after this.
Okay.
But I shook him violently and was like, what did you say? What? Why would you say that? And he's like, huh, what? I was sleeping. And so I was like, okay, that was weird.
Do you remember seeing her or saying that?
Okay, so I think you're going to go with the logic to this is that she's been telling me this, and then she wakes me up, and I'm in like a half awake state.
I did not wake you up. I woke you up maybe by yelling, but
maybe by yelling.
Deliberately wake you
so
up.
I knew why she was yelling, so I probably had like a quick dream.
Yeah.
And I did see something in a dream, or maybe a ghost.
Now, from my perspective of sleep, it was she's like here over me. Now, in your perspective, was she over you, or you saw her over me?
Okay, so over you, but like on the side of the bed.
Oh no, that's where she usually was. That's not cool. That's not cool to like look over and like someone's over your spouse. Is that what you saw?
To my recollection.
What was she doing? Just chilling?
This is hot.
Was she like doing
She
something?
was perched like in that famous photo, the famous painting.
You see, this is why I don't come on to many podcasts.
She was like in mine. She was kind of like bent at the waist, just like over you. Like, hey.
You know,
I mean,
but facing towards the
typically that's what happens.
Oh, that's where she is. Oh God.
That's where she is.
Bill. Now, I went into work at the time, and I told my coworkers what was happening, and I told them what Bill said, and they're like, well, do you live near a cemetery, or had anybody lived in your house before? Now, this is a new build house, essentially, not new build, it's 32 or 33 years old, which is, funnily enough, as old as I am, because my parents bought it as a brand new build. And nothing was here before. There were no houses here. It was marshland, right? So I'm like, I don't think it's the ghost of somebody who lived here. If
As
it was a
Janine
ghost.
says, we have haunting rights to the house.
Right. We have hunting rights to
You're
the house.
gonna be the ghost.
We will be the ghost.
Yeah.
So
You're the
I'm
Maitlands.
like, this is right. The rule is the person who lives here first gets the haunting rights. We have the haunting rights, as you know. They're like, do you live near a cemetery? I'm like, no, I don't. I was like, I do live across the street from a funeral home, though. And they were like, that's it. You dumb shit. That's what it is.
Shit.
It's the funeral home. Somebody got caught in your house.
Somebody
Got caught in your house trying to leave. So I was like, okay.
They get caught in the bedroom.
They're like, you need to burn sage in the corners. And I was like, okay. They're like, ghosts collecting corners. I was like, I believe you were thinking of spiders,
yeah.
not ghosts.
Right.
But then again, it's
Ghosts
sort of
can
like...
smell sweetness in your blood, and they bite you more.
Well, it's...
Wait, that's mosquitoes.
That's why you need a ghost exterminator. A ghostbuster, if you will.
Yes.
That's why they're exterminators. This is a pest. It's a pest in your house. Just like a mouse or a cockroach or an ant. It's just a pest.
So this house is haunted.
I don't believe it is. I think if it were haunted, which I don't believe it ever was officially, then it must have been momentarily. I think it was a ghost that got caught in here. I don't think anybody has squatters' rights to
But she was
this
caught
house.
for like a week, right?
No, like a while. It was almost a month.
Then who's in the crib with Henry right now?
Oh my God. Yeah, no.
Did you have a hat box?
No, she did not.
Was she
It
jaunty?
was just like it was too old-fashioned of an outline. You know, it was more like the librarian ghost from the Ghostbusters outline, not like a
Stringy
modern
sweater.
woman who would have died. You
Yeah.
know, something like that.
/ wavy gray shoulder length.
No, it was like pulled back.
All right, no, we saw two different people. We have a second ghost.
Wait, you saw stringy wavy hair?
Yeah, kinda
That's terrifying.
Like an older
You sure it
Blythe
wasn't
Danner.
just Janine?
It was Blythe Danner.
Blythe Danner was in the house.
Oh God, that's truly frightening. Do you guys read Goop? No.
You should.
Very proud of my daughter.
Well, geez, on that haunting
Oh
tale,
my god.
we should call this a wrap. This has been the Pop Culture Man Children Halloween Special 2019 Part 1.
Regular House of Horror.
Yes. I have been joined by Boo Gagliardi
Hello and goodbye. Probably forever.
and ghoulish Janine Gagliardi.
Good night.
We'll do like you'll come on anytime we have a Simpsons thing.
You have
It's the
to.
only thing I know.
It's the only thing I know.
You do Simpsons or music from a specific decade, most likely the 90s.
But you
That's what
are
I give
the
you.
creator of the Pop Culture Man Children theme and all various holiday versions of that theme.
Oh, the Christmas.
You just gotta hit little bells.
That's
It's
it.
easy, that one.
That's
It's
it.
easy. Because snow
I
sounds like
when
bells.
they end the Halloween special with a Christmas
Yeah.
thing. That's always fun when
Yeah.
they do that. It's a good
Yeah.
one. I like that.
I like the one recently where like it's CG of them as candy.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It was kind of like
Sausage party.
Sausage Party. That was it.
Yeah. See,
Yeah.
that's The Simpsons when it's chasing something else. It's always a bummer.
Yeah. Because they used to be cutting edge, and it just reminds you like how far they've fallen.
So we end every episode by quoting the great scholar Animal.
Go bye bye.